What do you do on other social media, right? On Facebook, now it's called Meta. I like donuts. On Instagram, it would be, here's a cool photo of my donuts. TikTok, it would be like, hey, watch me eating this donut. And then for Pinterest, it would be like, here's a donut recipe. And then for Spotify, it would be like, hey, I'm listening to this soundtrack called Donuts. WhatsApp is like, anybody want donut? I'll buy it, I'll grab it, right? And how about LinkedIn? Today, I'll be sharing with you three easy steps to basically, get started with your LinkedIn, how to basically create your LinkedIn that you can convert it to a sales page, and how you can stand out in a sea of noises with your origin CEO story, as well as your bulletproof, I call it the bulletproof personal brand messaging. So when people trying to find you online, they would find exactly who you are, your solution ahead as well. To give you a little bit of context who I am, I help entrepreneurs like yourself to create a LinkedIn strategy that wins eyeball, trust, and clients. This is me when I'm working at LinkedIn 3 years ago. So I spearhead a lot of LinkedIn workshop, AMAs, interviews with some of the Fortune 500 CEOs and partner with some of the hottest business in the world. Let's talk about what does it really means for you. I built a 6-figure business in the last 2 years using LinkedIn and LinkedIn only. I actually don't have any social media present except LinkedIn. And I built my business over there, and I want to share with you how I did it and how I can help you to do that as well. And you will get direct access to some of my frameworks as well as the step-by-step that I taught my students right here. And I'm so obsessed to help you to share the world with your brilliance in a big way is really my thing. And this is like me. I want to encourage you that if you're starting from scratch or you're somewhere experienced, you might already have 500 followers, but that's me when I figure out really doubling down on LinkedIn, and that's my result. And like I mentioned, I only doubling down on LinkedIn and building my personal brand. And I believe in making LinkedIn work for you. And I know it's possible because it's really the best place to start to building a highly profitable business. And I will share with you some of the stats why and exactly how you can do that as well, because people buy from people, right? It's simple. Why personal branding? Why you should be focusing on yourself? Because when the time people jump on a sales call with you, when the time that you're doing this type of workshop, when someone is introducing you, they already have an idea who you are. So you don't necessarily need to prove yourself, who exactly you are, what's your resume, what's your experience, just be focusing on investing on your personal brand. What is it in for you? I want to share this slide when I'm teaching at LinkedIn and people just have such a aha moment. What do you do on other social media, right? On Facebook, now it's called Meta. I like donuts. On Instagram, it would be, here's a cool photo of my donuts. TikTok, it would be like, hey, watch me eating this donut. And then for Pinterest, it would be like, here's a donut recipe. And then for Spotify, it will be like, hey, I'm listening to this soundtrack called Donuts. WhatsApp is like, anybody want donut? I'll buy it, I'll grab it, right? And how about LinkedIn? On LinkedIn, people carry a very professional mindset. As all of you know, if you're finding a job or you're from corporate worlds like myself or ages, LinkedIn is the professional social media, right? So people will be saying something like, I'm passionate about donuts and here's why. I have 5 years of experience making donuts. My top skills are donuts, marketing, production, and sales. Let me show you how to be successful in donuts industry. And here are the 3 recommendations from my former donuts colleagues. So the audiences are very different on LinkedIn. So the question going back to why LinkedIn, why you should growing your presence and focusing your personal brand on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is the best platform to build your profitable business because of this stats. So these are all the most updated stats that I literally dig up and trying to figure out yesterday. So these are all the latest stats for you. So 8.3% of LinkedIn users are sharing content on a weekly basis. What does that mean? That means that you can dominate on the newsfeed way easier than anybody else, right? 8.3. And there's 950 million of people on LinkedIn. So only 75 millions of people are actively sharing who they are, what they're selling, what's their business is all about, what their brilliance is. And 53% of people has a household income of 75K. People already have a household income of 75K. So really saying I can't afford it, it's not really a thing on LinkedIn. So that's another really interesting stats when when you're selling high ticket offer, that's something very different. 65 million business decision maker. When people is making a decision, they're actively thinking about whether to consider you as their coach, their B2B consultant. That is the way to go, right? And 78% of B2B leads are coming from LinkedIn. So which means if you're looking into nailing a corporate consulting gig, you're looking into like signing a retainer with a company, nailing sort of like a corporate workshop, that is like a really good place to be. And if I can ask you to do this right now, go to Google yourself. If you obviously have your LinkedIn profile, I guarantee you the first top 3 searches are going to be you. And that would be LinkedIn. So when you Google, let's say my name, Salina Yang, that will be the first one. 3 top searches to Google that. Let me know in the chat. And I wanted to know about this. And just because you are doubling down on LinkedIn, right? So like I always talk with some of my business owners, clients, you first started out, you might be spending so much time on investing on SEO on website. But LinkedIn, it's very different. It might take you maybe 3 to 6 months to be really ranking on Google, but not even on the top 3 results. But LinkedIn, that will actually help you when it rank higher on Google search. It started in 2021. LinkedIn just have a creator fund that is distributed to like basically creator that is very heavily focusing on sharing their expertise. And in fact, it's 25 million. So each creator fund will be granted $12,000. And I have 4 clients just receiving it. So there's so many opportunities there. Give me a yes if you are ready to pick that up, because opportunity is calling you right now. Are you ready to pick up those? So what is your LinkedIn business blueprint? So let me share with you like some of the things that I share with my clients when it comes to really hyping the 4 steps to turn your LinkedIn connection into lifetime clients and hit your revenue goal. So these are the 4 steps. I always start with LinkedIn metrics, personal branding, conversion content, and social selling. And that's the framework focus that I always share. So why is the first step? Because step 1 is personal branding. When people come to your LinkedIn profile, if you don't have a very clear message, they will be bounced up. They're like, this is not my person. Why am I basically staying here and talk to you, right? So personal branding, your messaging is always the very first thing. But just having your LinkedIn profile alone is not enough. You have to have content in order to drive traffic to, right? You can't just have, like, imagine a website. You don't have your blogs. You don't have any content there. You need to stick things on your website in order to win more SEO, right? In order to be relevant. So similarly for your LinkedIn profile, it's the same. And for social selling as well. When you have your LinkedIn profile, you have your content, but you don't necessarily build the relationship with your audience. There's no DMs conversation. How could you actually close the sales, right? And that is the 3 simple steps when it comes to driving sales using the power of LinkedIn and recurring revenue. It all started here, my friend. All started with your personal branding.
Hey Insider, do you like what you're watching so far? I really hope you do. This episode is sponsored by our very own personal brand boss, our signature LinkedIn program to create a follow-worthy personal brand that attracts your ideal clients and transform your boring LinkedIn profile into a highly converting sales page and move your readers to take action within 30 days. I cannot wait to see you there.
So let's start with this, with your LinkedIn metrics. And that is one of the biggest misconceptions people have when growing on LinkedIn. Can you guess what it is? I got daily message with things like this. Like, hey, hi, thanks, Salina. I have so many questions. Can you teach me how I can grow my followers? I get that all the time, daily, every single day. If anyone here is in the social media strategist, I'm pretty sure you resonate with me on this, right? Or maybe you're a business coach. You might get messages like this all the time too. And 90% of entrepreneurs on LinkedIn focusing on this, the wrong thing. Followers. They think followers are the metrics of success. And they focusing on the likes as the metrics of success. And when they hit viral like this, they will be like, yeah, I did it, ma. I'm so happy. Great. But wait, WTF, what's going on? They go back to their Stripe account and then looking at this. Why is that? Most of my students come to me having to experience this. And I want you to really release this. There's no shame. We've all done it, like including myself. I've been chasing followers for the first year of my business, and little did I realize later, these doesn't really reflect to my bank account. The only reason I know this because hundreds of my students have shared with me that that's their number one goal. And you're not alone. And this is normal. Consider that everyone is chasing the exact number. And they're what's like being taught pretty much like basically every guru or social media guru out there, right? And you can't really Google LinkedIn for business without being bombarded with content that going viral, more followers this, more likes this. And in fact, when I put in Google search, there's 530 million search results just by this. So if you want to actually use LinkedIn to generate business opportunity, I want you to change your mindset today. Screenshot this because that's the brutal truth for you, right? Like viral doesn't mean value, followers doesn't mean clients, and like doesn't mean your income. And please focusing on profitability over popularity. Say it really louder for the people at the back that can hear you. So the key component to sign clients on LinkedIn is to focusing on the right metrics of success first. Like that's the number one thing. Then focusing on each metrics of success in order to deliver you the result. So let's take a look. If you have your LinkedIn profile, that is the only tab I encourage you to open. So I want you to understand some of the LinkedIn metrics here. So this is the 5 performance metrics you should be focusing on when you're growing on LinkedIn. I will share with you what's your best fit followers ratio, your LinkedIn profile views, which is like AKA your website traffic, right? We'll be looking at your Google Analytics, knowing what's your stat, why particularly that month is lower, or why there is a month that are doing extremely well, right? Your content impression, which is how many eyeballs go in traffic to see your content, your search appearance, which is the SEO, as well as social selling index score. And how do you track it? Like use your own tool. I really like Notion for like our clients. So we have actually a portal particularly for our clients to basically track this. If you don't have one, just basically make yourself one so that you can track your record from it. But today I'm going to focusing on 1 to 4 because of the time. But if you are interested to learn more about 2, 3, and 5, I'll share with you ways to basically learn it more. So let's start with best fit followers. Not a lot of people really realize it. Why am I saying we are not focusing on followers, particularly on LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn doesn't really grow like other social media channels. Have you realized every time when you're checking your LinkedIn, there's like a connection numbers. There's also a followers number. During my time at LinkedIn, and I have absolutely no idea they are doing this. So this is how you can figure out your best fit follower ratio if you have your LinkedIn right here with you. You have your LinkedIn followers, you have your LinkedIn connection numbers. So when you open your LinkedIn profile, you see 2 stats right next to each other in the first page of your LinkedIn, right? And check that out and figure out what's your ratio. The higher the ratio is, the better it is. So the outdated tactics that people is like basically teaching out there is like adding as much as new connection, right? Just like those Instagram follow, unfollow like tactics that you can never basically like have time to basically unfollow somebody. And who started this? Like it's just so weird. Like who started to unfollow people and follow? And we just don't have the time to do that. This is how you can figure out your best fit follower ratio, right? And mine is like around 50. And how do you calculate that? So let's say you have 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, 5,000 connection, and that's basically your ratio, right? So this is the luxury of having that beautiful small audience, and that is the number you wanted to grow on LinkedIn. And the more that you have that follower following your LinkedIn, it gives LinkedIn the signal to push your LinkedIn profile towards whoever are interested in your topic. So making sure you're focusing on the best fit follower ratio when you're growing online. The other 5 that I mentioned earlier, let me go back to this page. The 5 performance metrics for 2, 3, and 4, and 5. You're like, Salina, where can I find this? It's so easy. When you go to your LinkedIn profile, it's only you can see it. Nobody else. So don't worry, no one can see your stats. You will see your LinkedIn profile views here, which is AKA, I call that your website traffic. You see your content impression, which is your content eyeballs. They have past 7 days, past 14 days, past months, all the way up to a year, as well as your SEO search appearance. So you will see it right here. So in your top banner, you will see the analytics tool. And then once you click that, LinkedIn will give you this to monetize your performance metrics. So eyeballs, that's your followers. And again, remember the best fit followers grow, not this number, your profile views, as well as your SEO number right here. So you can tap into it. But let me me focusing on SEO number for a bit, because that's like something that is really interesting and very easy to change the game completely for you on LinkedIn. So you can click here for your search appearance. And if you do a really fantastic job on LinkedIn with your SEO, drizzle all those keywords all over your LinkedIn, you get higher ranking on Google. In order to be the number one of like your specific industry of some of the keywords, that's the SEO that you will be updating. So how do we do it? Like, how does LinkedIn SEO really work, and where do I actually put them? So it's really easy. When you click into your search appearance on your LinkedIn, you can quickly see whether you're doing a really good job or not. So when you click on that, LinkedIn give you actually three big data. One is like where your searcher works. So imagine you want to close a client that is, let's say, in banking or finance. You go and take a look. If all these companies that your searcher are working are not in finance sector or financial service or banking industry, then maybe there is something that in your LinkedIn profile is not really working right now. Or what your searcher do. This is a very powerful one. So if you're looking into like closing deals with other CEOs or business strategists, or you are like me, which is like in the marketing industry, social media, digital marketing, and you will be able to find whether these are all the searcher that is searching your solution for. If you find that it's like something like about interns or traineeship or other job title that it's not related to your industry, then you know we need to update that, right? And last but not the least is the keyword your searcher used. This is a powerful one. Literally, LinkedIn tell you what keywords you are winning right now by clicking into this. Pretty interesting, right? This three, again, the analytics, the third tab, click on it. No one knows about it. It will give you these data. So let's talk about where can you win SEO? Where can you put them, right? So if I wanted to win LinkedIn marketing or LinkedIn business strategist, these are the areas that LinkedIn will help you to contribute higher in LinkedIn search results. On top of your LinkedIn profile, you see analytics and tools, or underneath this, providing services, yada, yada, yada. And here, the third tab, click on that, and then you will see this data, and then you will see keyword you were found. You will see where your searcher work and what your searcher do. All these keywords would be drizzled to your headlines, summary, and experience section, because that's contributes 70%. So just by doing this, you can rank way higher than anybody in the same like industry of yours. So making sure you have that keyword drizzle on your headline, summary, experience. I'll share with you where exactly in headlines you should be putting it in a bit. And then for secondary section, that contributes 30% of LinkedIn SEO and skills and endorsement and recommendation. No one knows about it. But how do you actually do it, right? You might be asking, hey, Salina, how exactly I can do it? So for skills and endorsement, you can be the person that highlighting it for the first three top skills. But for recommendation, it started to get tricky, right? So what I usually do, and I recommend my clients with, is when your amazing client sent you a recommendation, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Let me press add to my LinkedIn profile. I want you to wait for 1 second and go back to their recommendation and making sure they add that for you. But let me give you an advanced strategy. You can customize your LinkedIn profile URL. And obviously, I always recommend you to use your name. Imagine someone buying a domain. You're getting a domain for free from LinkedIn, right? So you can do that for www.linkedin.com/in/corporate success queen for Ashley, right? So you can do that for your LinkedIn custom URL. But given the fact that no one's already snagged it yet, right? And when you do take it, you take it. So nobody else can claim Salina Yang if they have the exact same name than I am, right? Doesn't make sense? So this is how that looks like. And rename your profile pictures and banner. This is sort of like a hack. So when you're saving your LinkedIn profile and banner, update it with, let's say, corporate success queen for Ashley. For Liz, it will be impact community leaders. It could be like Liz Best. It could be like Brittany, SEO copywriter strategist, and then Brittany, her last name. And then for Beth, it will be like media, and then underscore strategies, television, and then her name again. Like I mentioned, the second layer of it is content, right? So do publish optimized content and pair it with creator mode. Just by doing these SEO work that I mentioned to you earlier, you will get quick result. Like after today's, really take action, you quickly get result of 90% increase on your profile views, 300 increase in your search appearance. That's pretty big numbers, right? And helps you with your content as well. And if you're interested to know about your social selling index score, which is the 5th one, I encourage you to just go to Google right now and put your LinkedIn and put LinkedIn social selling index score, and you will be able to find your score there. If your score is anywhere under 70 SSI score, there's so much room for you to improve, and which means your LinkedIn profile is not fully optimized. And if you're interested, I think me and Brittany did a separate podcast show about that. I've talked about like some of the actionable tips you can increase your SSI score, but that's like sort of like the next advanced step. But SEO is where I would start, as well as your best fit follower growth. I want you to let me know which success metrics you would like to focus on one thing this week. Is it focusing on your profile views? Is it going to be your SEO? Or is it going to be the social selling index score? But those are actually all the success metrics you will be knowing how well you're doing on LinkedIn, right? And every step of your LinkedIn journey, I am here for you.